Hello, Midas. Today's admonition, I would like to talk about feedback. Feedback. Now, feedback is the thing that gives you the information based on a particular data that you give. In music production, we have our monitor speakers that gives us the feedback, so that if you are working on someone's music or you are mixing a sound, you'll be able to get the response of what is going on. You'll be able to know if there is this frequency that is too high or too low. You need a monitor speaker. You need a feedback to be able to get the accurate representation. If you have a bad feedback, then it will be translating something that is not really right. That is, the thing may not be the exact thing going on in your song, but the feedback is giving you as though the highs are low, or the lows are high. And that makes you go to adjust them, not knowing that it's the feedback that is deceiving you. This simple idea of feedback has spoiled many mixes and many song production, because the people mixing didn't get the right feedback to know exactly the right thing to adjust. So sometimes you can be a very good engineer, you are good, you have good ears, but the monitors are deceiving you, meaning the feedback system is deceiving you. So it's making you create certain things or adjust certain things that are not needed to be adjusted because you're having the wrong feedback. When you look at the concept of feedback from a national point of view, you realize that the data that we collect, whether it be on GDP or on inflation rate and all of that, apart from the fact that even from the governmental level, most of these data are manipulated, because you hear, maybe you watch channels and then you hear the inflation rate is at 17% and whatever. But when you look at the real life existential example, when you look at, for example, between 2015 and now, at 2015, we say rice was like 300 and something. At some point, 280 a module, and then now you have it at 700. So when you look at it, how many percent in terms of the increase? So when you look at statistic, based on real experiential data, and that is feedback. All right, feedback doesn't have to be the formal, televised analysis. Feedback is just the feedback that you get. Yeah. Now, if you have the right feedback, then you'll be able to truly make a difference, because with the right feedback, you know exactly the right thing to do. In fact, I'll really argue that one of the reasons why people do not succeed very well in anything will be because of the lack of the proper feedback. That is it. But this issue of feedback, I may just be saying it lightly here, but it is deep rooted. It is deeply rooted, because if you get into feedback, except you have a system that is without bias, it becomes very difficult, because the human ego is there tied. Because when you do not have a system that validates, then what happens is that people will use their ego to create their assumption of what they think is the right thing. Let me give you an example. If, let's say, I am a producer, I am a music producer, and we have many producers around. So what makes me a better producer? What makes them a better producer? Is it feeling? I feel I'm better. I see the idea. Or well, people said, no, all of that. Now, if there is a system, all right, that then maybe there's some kind of other competition to do certain production, and then we have renowned producers maybe all over the world that will judge it, and they say, okay, I think this has the elements of blah blah blah. Now, even at that, we can say that music is subjective, and even the ones that the judges may choose, there are other people that may not like it. All of that can be factored in, but then we'll be able to have some kind of idea based on what is generally obtainable out there. So with feedback, I'll be able to know where I stand in the spectrum. Not that, Abdul Kaz, no, that's sentiment. So I may maybe play piano, and someone will not say, okay, therefore, I am good at producing. It's a different ballgame. So if you don't have the right feedback, then you create assumption. That's where ego comes in. So Nigeria does not have the right feedback. But I'm talking Nigeria now as an abstract and not Nigeria as a government. But let's skip that. Let's come to Nigerians as individuals. We, you and I. Do you have the right feedback to know, who you are? What do you have? Where do you stand in the spectrum of anything that you want to do? Of anything. So that lack of feedback is one of the things that's affecting. It's the reason why I'm doing these challenges. I'll be doing most of these challenges. It's not going to be only piano. It's a Midas challenge, where I'll challenge people to either write a theory of something, or an essay of something, or a mathematical puzzle or something. And if you get it right, you'll win. The idea of it is this. If I put a puzzle, if I play something naturally, there's something in your mind that just tells you I can do that thing. And that's where ego comes in, because we do not have a system that checks. But if you put money to it and people try it and discover they can actually do it by trying and actually doing it, then it reveals something about them. If they try it and they can't do it, it also reveals something about them, because it makes them know, I thought this thing I could do it. And that thinking that we could do something is where ego comes in, because the ego makes you feel that, what's there? I can do it. So, and that the moment you think you can do, even when you are not trying to do, you're living in a false assumption. And in that false assumption, which is ego, you keep on living your life as though you're above it. So it makes you lose appreciation for it. Or it makes you not work hard to actually achieve it, because in your mind you think you have already even achieved it already, because to you what is there. So we have lots of ego in Nigeria, lots of ego. You just think, I bet, what is that guy doing? That's ego, because it's based on your feeling. That's what sentiments are. I bet, that's sentiment. But if there's a system that validates, and the system is that and that has to be scientific, and that's why the Western world have ahead, because they have a scientific system that is without bias. Science is that prove it. We're going to see, and that's without bias, because now what we want is for nature itself to prove who is right, not so for your sentiment. It's not about everyone is entitled to their opinion. No, you are not entitled to your opinion when it comes to scientific thing. Your opinion will be put to test, so we'll see how true it is. So in Nigeria, because we live in sentiments, if somebody has an opinion about you, then you have resentment about the person, rather than for you to say, okay, prove it. You see, with proof, it's not more about the person's opinion, it's about the proof to show whether it's true or not. So now it's life that will prove what that opinion is. And that's it. So, but because of the fact that we're not thinking scientific, then we have lots of resentments. And that lot of resentment is where our backwardness is. And that's why you see everybody's on his own. It's difficult for people to connect to something. So we're here shouting, let's do something, let's connect. Let me tell you the truth. You see, as we're trying to do this thing, as simple as this stuff that we want to do as stunts, if we decide that we're going to be giving winnings every week, just 20,000 naira, and many people will be keen into it, it will spark up something. It will spark up people wanting to learn. It will spark up educational thing. It will spark up, because it's an incentive, and it will spark up people. It's as simple as that. Now, what does it take to give that 20,000? Let's say if we have 200 people, all right? I just want to even be fair, because if we have 1,000 people, it will almost be like no, you're only donating 10 naira or something. Just think about it. But if you have 200 people, what it will take is 200 naira, 100 naira, not 200, 100. Think about it. 100 naira is what it will take if you donate, and then weekly, for let's say, and then we'll be having all of these winners. The joy we're going to derive from it, the excitement, it's not just about the money, all right? And definitely the money to the winner, but then the excitement, the value we're adding, the essences we're discovering, the uniting factor, and it's 100 naira we're talking about. 100 naira is going to cost it. Yet, who do you see trying to do things like this? Everybody's on his own. Let's do things that bring us together, and then create feedback. Something that gives us a feedback of how we are doing, who is doing what, who is doing better, all of those things. In that feedback is where we know our true nature. In that true nature is where we progress. That's what America discovered, and that's why they are progressing. So let me just stop at that. I hope this has been of value. Bye.